STRUT is an extravaganza. It's a performance unique to the Richmond and possibly the Virginia community. We have been calling it the largest fashion performance in the state of Virginia. It brings in all areas of VCU entertainment. We have dance, we have fashion, we have art, we have music, we have it all. It's glitzy, it's glamour, it's the place to be.
This is the fun fashion show. If you are not here to have fun, please let Justin know right now, okay? I'm the assistant director for programs and events for the Monroe Park campus right over in the University Student Commons. And when I first got here, I couldn't believe that we didn't have a fashion show of this caliber. So I kind of created this fashion show for students, ran by students, but not very restrictive. And so in 2005 is when STRUT was introduced. The first show had a lot of expectations on my end. I dreamt about it, I thought about it, I was completely stressed out about it, and here we are in 2007, and the show is just phenomenal.
He got out a prop. That was happy.
For a typical fashion show, you put the clothes on, you walk down the runway, and you clap, and you're like, oh my God, that was runway boring, as we call it. This will be entertaining from start to finish. You will actually see a show. We like to call it a fashion performance more than we like to call it a fashion show, because my dad comes to STRUT and he's like, wow, when's the next one? And he is a football, manly man, but he's entertained, and he likes the entertainment aspect of it. So from beginning to end, we're going to mix in some fashion, but we're definitely going to mix in some entertainment.
We cooked up this theme back in April when the other show just ended. And it's called STRUT Evolution because it's a story. It's a timeline. It starts in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, where fashion was first created. When she ate the fruit and realized that she was naked, she needed to clothe herself. That right there is the beginning of fashion. So that's why we're starting the show there in the Garden of Eden. This year's theme is STRUT Evolution. It starts in the Garden of Eden, and it chronicles man's journey throughout time. We use modern fashions that were inspired by all these periods throughout history to tell the story of how man has developed. As I divulge more details about the show and other performances, like the things the dancers will be doing, we're gonna have drummers, we're gonna have a violinist, we're gonna have a drag queen. We'll have all kinds of excitement. I would like y'all to keep this as hush-hush as possible. Y'all can hint at the theme and such, but as for the details of the show, they don't need to know that. They will see it when they come. You gotta give them some mystery so that they come and see you, right? The whole theme of evolution and time and this Adam and Eve came from my love of art. And I wanted to use art to tell this story, but I knew that the general public wouldn't have the same bank of record of knowledge that I have of all these arts and names of artists and periods and blah, 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 blah. So I needed to translate into something that everyone could understand. And everybody knows the Adam and Eve story, and they know a little bit of history, and this is enough for them to follow. But I still bring in the art aspects during the show to kind of create the mood, along with music that's very scene specific, and the clothes itself in each scene.
I think my favorite aspect of this year's show is the creativity. From the runway to the stage to how we're going to visually make this show look. I think that's what I'm very excited about. Some people love their fashion shows just as much as we love STRUT. So that just means that y'all gotta rip this runway and really show them what STRUT's about, okay? I hope that the audience this year takes away from STRUT the fact that the students work very, very hard, on it. One thing that I've always been told about the STRUT Fashion Show is that you can see that it's professional. Even though students do it, some of these shows you could probably see in New York. You could probably see out in LA at the major fashion expos. And so I hope that's what the audience takes away from it, that these students have been working hard on this show since July. and that, you know, they are students, so they've had to mix class in this. Some of them have had to mix work into this, but the product and what you're going to see when you step into the Alltel Pavilion at the Siegel Center during, you know, the STRUT Fashion Show is going to be superb. So I hope the audience really enjoys it.
Like, at the end, they just go, wow. I was not expecting that. That's what I want people to say. I was not expecting that. I want it to have a little bit of shock value. That's something that, you know, they've never seen before, and that they can say that I've never seen this before. And I don't think I'll ever be able to see something quite like this again. And what other venue would have something like this? Something that's so unique. So just this excitement, and like that they would just had it was money well spent. It's a good thing that they're like, well, I'm glad I spent that $15 to see that, not asking for their money back.
Whatever pose you want to do, try to be different from here, It's kind of three poses here, again and on. So whatever pose you want to do, sexy, fierce, whatever, bring it. Okay, straight runway and then back. So we're striking our pose.
Today is our third and final model workshop called Show Me What You Got. And this is the final step before our model call. And the purpose of the workshops is to help the models be prepared for the model call. A lot of them have never done modeling before. This might be one of the only opportunities in their career to be a model. So we want to help them as much as possible to be all they can be, so when they come to the audition, they wham it.
Who's bringing sexy back? Energy is STRUT 2007, baby. Let's pump it up.
Each of the models will be invited to walk one at a time down the runway and pose and do their thing. And then Shannon Christian, LaToya King, and myself will be critiquing them, being as brutally honest as we possibly can be, or as much as they can stand, anyway, to help them be prepared for February 5th and 6th, when we have the call.
Bring it. Are y'all friends? Oh, well, she said no. Oh, she don't like you.
You can slow the pace a little. You do not have to walk fast.